We have an article here that says MacBook Pro 16-inch redesign coming in the third quarter of 2021. I've been waiting for this like forever. So we have an article from Mac Rumors. So it says new MacBook Pro models to feature flat-edged design, MagSafe, no touch bar, and more ports. So who missed the MagSafe? I know I did. See, after this USB-C thing started, it became a dongle city. So I always loved that MagSafe connector, which on the charging port, whenever you step on it, it used to disconnect, and it also had that green LED, if you remember, with those older MacBook Pros. So gone are those days, but looks like they're coming back. You know, magnets are everywhere. Let's be honest, people love magnets. I was a magnet boy. I mean, when I was a child, I used to take a magnet and go and rub the soil. You can laugh at it, but I think many people have done this, taking magnet and rubbing in the soil and then collecting those particles, right? And then I used to play with those particles. I mean, I'm talking way before, way before I worked at Walmart. I'm talking when I was 8 years old, I used to take a magnet and rub. So, people love magnets, and looking at MagSafe coming back, it's pretty good. It's a good deal for me. And also it is going to feature the iPad design language. So design of the Mac, it needs to change. It's getting old. They have done some minor improvements last year with the 16-inch MacBook Pro. We got a little bit of better display, but it needs a redesign. Okay, which we will get with the 16-inch MacBook Pro coming. So do not buy a MacBook Pro 16-inch at this point if you're looking for a Pro device. Even if the MacBook Pro 13 has the M1 processor, which is far better than i7 processor that we have today. Do not buy it if you are using it for a pro purpose, because just hold on tight for this new 16-inch. It's going to feature a new processor, possibly called as the M1X. It is going to have a 12-core design compared to the 8-core design with M1. I mean, already M1 is pretty fast. So you can only imagine what a 12-core design with the M1X is going to bring to you. So do not buy MacBook right now. Just wait for it. You will get way better value for your money. So according to Minchi Kuo, who knows Minchi Kuo here? Apple is developing two models in 14 and 16-inch size options. The new MacBook Pro machines will feature a flat-edged design, which Kuo describes as similar to the iPhone 12 with no curves like current models. I personally like this design. I actually loved this design when the iPad Pro came out. So good to see it making its way to the Mac at this point. If you see Big Sur, right, the user interface of Big Sur indicate that there will be rounded corners if you closely observe those windows on Big Sur. So there will be a no OLED touch bar included. I never used the touch bar I used the touch bar only to stop recording a video. Apart from that, I never used the touch bar, to be honest. And instead of Apple is actually returning to physical function keys. Kuo says the MagSafe charging connector design will be restored, though it's not quite clear what that means, as Apple has transitioned to USB-C at this point. Okay. So MacBook Pro models will have additional ports. Port was a big problem with the current MacBook Pro 13 inches. Let me go to the Apple site here and see if we really have do we really have stock for the MacBook Pro. Let me click on the Mac right here. Last time I checked, we don't have. We have to wait for 2 to 3 weeks to get this MacBook Air, and about a week to get this MacBook Pro, and about a week to get this Mac Mini. Let's see if we have stock for MacBook Pro right now. Shall we buy one right now? I'm just kidding. I'm just waiting for the 16-inch MacBook Pro redesign. So you can order today and it delivers 21st to 23rd Jan. Okay, you can get it in a week, but I don't think you can get the 16 GB variant of this MacBook Pro in a week. Let's check that. Okay, yeah. The moment I selected the 16-inch, I immediately see 3rd February to 9th February. If I want to bump up the storage up to 2 terabyte, that is also going to deliver between 3rd Feb and 9th Feb. Interesting. Okay, so the best MacBook Pro, you can get it in about 3 weeks from now, which is okay. But Apple has some good news for you. They are giving you the 16-inch MacBook Pro with a better processor. Everything will be better redesign. You might be interested in this 14-inch as well. So you might want to check this out. They have a redesign. I don't think the 13-inch model has a longer lifespan than when this 14-inch gets introduced, right? I think 13-inch is dead at that point. We'll only see a MacBook Air with a 13-inch at that point. So the word says this new MacBook Pro is said to have a squared off sides like the iPad Pro and the iPhone 12. The current laptop already has sharp edges, but it sounds like the top and bottom panels are going to be flatter than before. The new model will reportedly come with a 14-inch and 16-inch sizes, both featuring Apple redesigned ARM processors with no Intel options. Intel is dead when it comes to MacBook Pros, we all know that. So Core says the laptops will use a similar heat pipe system to the current 16-inch MacBook Pro, giving more thermal headroom and enabling higher performance. Actually, there is nothing wrong with the current M1. It's thermally very stable. So Bloomberg reports that the new models will have brighter and higher contrast displays. So there's this buzzword mini LED displays which are going to make its way. I think Apple is going to introduce the iPad Pro, the next generation of iPad Pro in March. So in that iPad Pro, I think they are going to introduce the mini LED displays. Mini LED has a lot of advantages and it doesn't have those little disadvantages of OLED. But I don't think the contrast ratio is as good as OLED. It's not OLED. OLED is still the king according to me. But mini LED has a better lifespan. I mean, the size of the display with mini LED, it can be gigantic compared to OLED displays. I think it's a little bit cheaper than OLED as well. We kind of have to see when it comes out. So on an iPad, it makes sense. If you want to have a MacBook with a mini LED, I wonder if they're going to increase the price. Maybe not, because they have their own processor now, and then they can keep the current price or maybe even lower it, because we just saw them lowering the prices. I mean, look at the Mac Mini, just 64,900, and that mind you, this is after adding the Apple tax in India. So if you go to US, I think you can get it for around 50,000. You're getting a big machine which is super capable for 50,000. Has M1 and it has a fan and all that. So they were able to reduce the price. So I'm pretty optimistic that they are going to reduce the price of this new 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros when they land. I'm just waiting for them to get my hands on it. Alright, see you guys in the next video.